Hey everybody. Just gave Butterbean some snails for dinner. I also just finished on a water change. I got the glass all wiped down. And I thought I would just sit here and get a few minutes of video of Butterbean eating his dinner since we've got some nice clean glass in front of us. You can see one of the shrimp right here in the front has got a hold of one of the little snails I've thrown in there. I threw that big Ramshorn snail in there, but I also threw a bunch of little pond snails to give him something to do. I sort of scattered the pond snails around a little bit so they're in various places, and you can see the shrimp over here is rooting around looking for them. I was noticing today I still have at least 3 shrimp in there, and they've been in there for quite a while. I've also got 2 shrimp still living in my snail tank, and they actually sort of keep my snail population in check, a little more than I'd like them to actually. And it really does seem strange seeing the shrimp swimming around in the same tank as a figure 8 puffer, but there you have it. Now off to the left you can see 2 of my little Bumblebee Gobies. I have had people in the past suggest that they were baby puffers, but they are not. They are completely different species of fish. They are Brackish species. The Bumblebee Goby, sort of an umbrella term. There's a lot of different species that all look very similar in size and shape, and they all sort of fall under that Bumblebee Goby umbrella. So in general terms, they're just considered Brackish species. I couldn't even begin to tell you what exact species they are. But again, they're not puffer fish in any way. They're not even related to puffer fish. Not sure whether that was stuck to him or he just didn't want to let it go or what. Now it's hard to tell whether or not those white marks, those lesions that he has on him, are getting any better or not. They don't seem to be getting worse, and it almost looks like some of the ones on his back have sort of cleared up a little bit, and even the ones on his right side behind his pectoral fin there seem to be less noticeable. I don't know if they're healing over, I don't know if it's sort of scar tissue building over it, but it doesn't seem to be getting worse. See, he goes up almost daintily near that shrimp, almost like he didn't want to disturb the shrimp or like he was intimidated by the shrimp. What kind of puffer doesn't just go over and eat shrimp? I actually put the shrimp in the tank as a food source originally, and he's eating shrimp. I've seen him go after shrimp and catch and kill them, but he generally doesn't. He will generally leave the shrimp alone. I've almost always had shrimp living in this tank with him simultaneously. Now eventually the shrimp will die because they don't have very long lifespans, but I put more shrimp in the tank and they just keep right on going. He doesn't really prey on them. The only shrimp I've ever seen him eat was when he was really young, and I was still sort of experimenting with different foods to give him, and shrimp was on the menu. See, he's definitely intimidated by the Mollies, and he was clearly checking the shrimp out there. Now he looks like he's kind of looking at it again, but he's just not interested. He's looking for those snails. And if you're wondering what all those bubbles on the bottom are from, they are from the most recent water change I did. I will often get those clumps of the red cyanobacteria that grow on the bottom, and when I vacuum them out along with all of the remains of the snail shells, I usually wind up collecting a bunch of the substrate from the bottom inadvertently. And what I do is I pour off the bucket, I leave the substrate in the bottom, and then I soak it in hydrogen peroxide for a few days just to kill off anything that's in there. Then I dry it out good and thoroughly, and once it's been completely dried for about a week or so, I can go ahead and put it back in the tank with my next water change. And that's what you see here with all those air bubbles all over that substrate. That just got dumped back in the tank from being sucked out on a previous water change. So he's still looking around. He definitely thinks there's more food in the tank, and I think he's probably gotten all the snails that I put in there by now. Again, all I put in was that one large one, and then I put a bunch of smaller ones in various places around. You know, I kind of scattered them around, and as they fell to the bottom, the current swirled them around. And so that should give him some forage. It should give him something to do. It'll keep him busy. Pufferfish get bored very easily, and if you ever see your puffer like pacing the glass, just swimming up and down on the glass, it's probably because they're bored or unhappy for some reason. Something's going on there. Now, some fish will do that occasionally anyway, but if they're doing it a lot, it's probably not a good sign. And by having plenty of stuff in there to hunt for and food sources scattered around, you know, sort of a natural foraging behavior keeps them occupied, and it actually helps to keep the fish healthier. So that's what he's probably going to do for the rest of the evening. He's either going to watch me as I tinker around in here with whatever else I'm going to be getting up to. And then, of course, he's going to still look around for food for himself for the rest of the evening. So I'm going to say thanks for watching, and make sure you're subscribed. That way you won't miss anything. You never know what it's going to be with me. And, of course, you don't want to miss any more of Butterbean here in my brackish tank. So thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one. And me and Butterbean will see you again real soon.